vamos a ir directamente a lo de Coffeezilla con este tema de lo que es lo que fue esto, ¿no?
For the last 48 hours, I've been investigating the Argentinian meme coin disaster known as Libra. If you don't know, the president of Argentina posted publicly supporting this meme coin, and subsequently it has all crashed and people have wondered where the money is, with $100 million seeming to go missing. Now, I've been in touch with the key players in this, trying to get answers, and what you're about to hear is an hour-long interview with Hayden Davis, who is the main guy behind the launch and a lot of the token decisions. He currently sits with $100 million in his possession that he's trying to find out what to do with. You will discover through the course of this call that it is not the first time we have been talking. I have been trying to communicate with him for, as I said, the last 24 to 48 hours. And this is not the interview for like pushing from my view, because I wanted to get information. I feel like the biggest thing we're missing is answers. And so I was just listening a lot of this call. I do think we got some incredible admissions, but I wanted to say it's not my characteristic like, scammer. And that was by design. The guy was very skittish from the beginning. And so I didn't feel like that was an appropriate kind of reaction. Everyone's going to have their opinion on this guy either way based on what you hear. But I thought a more like neutral approach, just letting this guy talk. It is the first time he's talked since he issued like a statement on Twitter. It was like a minute long and it wasn't received very well. So I wanted to give him the chance to kind of dump all the information out at once. The interview starts abruptly because he starts with some off-the-record stuff that I had to cut out. But yeah, hopefully this sheds some light on what's going on.
I'll just start. I can just start talking about certain things. One of the issues with Libra, and what we try
hold
and
on.
avoid.
I just want to know: can we consider this part on the record? Because I don't want to include the stuff about all that kind of stuff. That's not like anyone's business. I appreciate you sharing that context. The Libra stuff is sort of the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about.
The Libra stuff is fine. Like the Libra stuff is fine.
Okay, go ahead.
So like one of the issues with Libra, right? I mean, there's so many details in this story, but one of the issues with Libra is when you launch on Meteora, right? And you're trying to avoid all these snipers. There's this whole context around like shitloads of insiders. That's not what's going on. What's going on is you have these, I don't know how they're doing it, but these expert snipers, like guys that are clipping 1.7, 2 million, 800,000, 1.2 million into the charts. And then what you have is, because on big launches, all this volume's going to come in. And then you're like, fuck. This guy, like at one point, one of the top wallets, which for some reason still hasn't sold a bunch, I don't understand why, but had $57 million, right? And had a 5 billion market cap, or 4.5, which is what Libra was at. That's still going to crush the chart. It's not like that's 5 billion. It's not like that's $4.5 billion. So then you have to make a real-time decision where you're like, okay, do I pull do I swap some of the liquidity out to protect the floor, knowing that I know that there's more marketing plans coming? Or
acá aparentemente lo que está diciendo el chabón, o lo que yo entiendo de lo que está queriendo hacer zafar, es como que no se pudieron proteger, ¿no?, a lo que ellos llaman snipers, francotiradores, que o hacen bots o van y compran fuerte para que suba y después salir, ¿no?, en el precio más alto que consideren, y que ellos, digamos, cuando estás ahí en esa que hay un jugador grande que compró y ahora se está retirando y te empieza a hacer caer el precio del valor, como que los chabones ahí tienen que decidir si ellos también salen para guardar, ¿no?, liquidez y para, digamos, hacer zafar el proyecto, porque dicen que como que va a seguir en el tiempo, ¿no?, y para poder tener guita y mantenerlo. ¿No? Es como bastante chamullo, ¿no? Digamos, es inevitable que si haces una meme coin hay todo un mercado gigante de tipos que apuestan fuerte y cuando no vale nada y cuando sube lo van a vender, digamos, no te queda otra.
do I just let the chart get crushed? Right? And that's what every single one of these launches, that's what happens. Where it's like 3 to 10 guys get these massive chunks. They're not good snipers, right? They're all bad snipers. They're just looking to unload their whole position. You can't track it. You can't find it. It doesn't matter if you subpoena it. It doesn't, like, it takes forever. It doesn't work. And so every launch, right, this happens. Now, what happened with Libra specifically, which I'm happy to share, even though Javier and his team have told me that there's a pretty substantial interview coming tomorrow that'll be live on TV. I don't think that's like super publicly known, but like he's going to basically clear up A, me, and then B, Libra as the project, because he's obviously under scrutiny. But basically what happened was when
Acá estaba lo que decía Jairo, ¿no? Que acá estaba diciendo que hoy supuestamente iba a haber una entrevista con Milei en la tele, ¿no? Es raro que te salga a decir eso, pero bueno, evidentemente tienen, o sea, que no estaba informado Milei cuando sabe que va a haber una entrevista antes que todos nosotros, ¿viste? Es como raro, ¿viste? O no estás interiorizado y con hablaste 3 días, ¿cómo sabe? Tuviste que hablar con él, ¿no? En estos últimos momentos. Es raro. Si hoy sale la nota, no, para mí queda peor todavía, boludo.
Launched, our goal was, okay, can we collect enough
Rodrigo dice, Pela, los vecinos de Merlo que no podemos salir a la calle en paz porque nos roban hasta la gana, ¿te pensás que esto no importa? No, no. Lo que pasa es que más allá de lo que yo es lo que vengo diciendo a lo largo de estos programas, para que realmente le pegue a Milei, tiene que pasar algo en lo financiero internacional que sea como un encadenamiento de grandes inversores que se retiran de posiciones y que hacen caer los precios de los activos argentinos. Todo huele en sangre, ¿no? Y le pasa como a Macri, que de un día para el otro todos olieron sangre con la PASO y se fueron a la mierda. Y lo que valía, no sé, bonos argentinos que valían al 120% pasaron a valer nada.
liquidity, which again, people can say we're pieces of shit or not, but the goal was to connect enough liquidity because Milei was going to do another video, and then there were some other, I won't name them, but there were some other high-level people that were going to interact, post, etc., market the video, right? So our goal was...
O sea que acá está diciendo que Milei iba a sacar un video después del posteo y que había muchos jugadores importantes que le iban a retuitear. O sea, como que había toda una planificación, evidentemente, como para que diga que no estaba interiorizado en el tema.
Take enough liquidity off to get all the snipers out, or at least control them, so that when the chart dips down, it's not going to crush the whole project. Have Milei do the second round of videos, and then inject all the capital back in, or at least the vast majority, and create like a mega Trump launch, basically. And I don't know, I still don't have answers on exactly what happened with why he took the post down. I'm assuming there's some extreme political pressure that he got and he panicked. As somebody in his position, I would feel rightly so. I mean, he's not like a crypto native person. And then we've been working through like, okay, what can we do from here? But like, you know, people are saying this is a rug pull. Like, that's not objectively true. There's still like, there's what, 60 million on the bonding curve of liquidity that's locked, right? It's at 300 million market cap. Like, it's not a rug. It's a plan gone miserably wrong with $100 million sitting in account.
Bueno, el chabón dice que no es un rug pull, o sea, como que era una estafa planificada para hacerlo subir y después volarlo, sino que es un plan que salió mal, pero sigue haciendo quedar mal a Milei porque era un plan. Y Milei salió a decir que no tenía la más puta idea de esto. Entonces es como que queda muy mal parado, boludo. Queda muy mal parado para mí su imagen, ¿no? Veremos si en qué pega después, si pega o no. Pero lo está haciendo quedar peor todavía.
That I'm the custodian of, but I'm not. I would love instruction on what to do with it. I don't have no desire to be public enemy number one of how to make this happen. I'm not benefiting from this. My life is just in danger.
Yeah, so there's a few things I want to touch on there.
Yeah.
Thanks for that explanation. The 100 million, I think the view from the public is that like rug is a word at this point, which is so widely used that it has like a colloquial meaning too. And it just means sort of like unfair value extraction. I think that's like kind of the colloquial meaning. And in this case, the unfair value extraction would be like taking money out. And the view was that there was no clarity on like what that was going to be used for. So people just thought like, oh, they're just taking profits, right? Like this is $100 million of profits in such and such a time. So that was the view. But yeah, obviously something needs to be done with this $100 million to try to put it back in the, people's hands. I think that's going to be a very complicated, tough process because it's very difficult to do that with people not further taking advantage of the situation, right?
Well, if I could just comment, like it's also multi-sided, right? Because like it's a meme coin. Like if you're turbo nuking your whole portfolio into a meme coin, right? Like that, I mean, not financial advice, but like it's foolish. So I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, well, like I was even talking about this today with a number of different people. It's like, how do you assess a value when the token's not dead? The president's most likely going to support it, so it's going to have some element of probably going back up. And you have to both control the narrative of like, okay, people have lost money because they've chosen to sell, but the token's not dead yet. Like, where are those lines? And the answer is nobody can give me an answer.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Malay backtracked, and I think Malay's gonna wash his hands of this. But I could definitely be wrong. I don't know the whole situation. I do have a question, like just like a yes or no. Like, is Malay gonna make money on this?
No.
Right. My second question: are the two people who were involved in this launch Manuel and Mauricio?
Yes.
From Tech Forum Argentina, yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Kit Protocol was going to run the nonprofit, or whatever it was going to be, like a foundation, right?
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah.
They didn't have much to do with it. And then you were going to launch the coin, but you weren't going to do the like distribution of the money.
So yeah. I can talk a little more about that. So like the plan, like this was supposed to be an experiment, right? Like Malay has a deep desire to put everything on chain, like to make everything public, to make like all the financial transactions of the country, like he wants to tokenize, right? So I've been in talks with tons of different people and tons of different foundations about structuring what that would look like over the next couple of years. And so like the idea was like, okay, well, let's experiment with this and see how it goes. Because again, it's not like he has supported it, but it wasn't like it was his official meme coin. Let's also like make that crystal clear. And yeah, so anyways, that's a side note, but
right. So look, a big part of this is like, people are trying to figure out what's going on. This money gets taken out of the account. And then there's this accusation that insiders had knowledge of the contract before it was out. All these, KOLs, these basically people in the know in the industry knew about the coin prior to launch and therefore could have either one, just shared that fact with other people, which is bad because it gives people unfair advantages, but two, benefited from the knowledge themselves. I think a very easy example is Dave Portnoy, who knew about the launch, I think he said 2 weeks before you even before it ever came out, right? So he knew about it. Just as a quick amendment, although Dave claimed that he knew that it was probably coming out, he said he did not buy early or...
¿Qué hace este Dave Portnoy, boludo, en esto? Este chabón tiene un canal que lo que hace se llama One Bite Pizza y va comiendo pizza por Estados Unidos. ¿Cómo está involucrado en esto, boludo? Hay cosas que es inentendible la bizarreada de lo que se volvió el mundo, boludo. Un chabón que tiene un canal que come One Bite Pizza, le da una mordida a una pizza y te dice y le pone un puntaje, de golpe es un chabón que habla en noticieros, es una celebridad, está metido en esto también. Es rarísimo todo, boludo. El mundo es re bizarro.
Or as an insider, I bought 10 minutes or so after Malay tweeted. I would have bought 10 milli if I could have. That's how I was sold on this. So just to be clear, although he knew of its existence, his statement is that he did not trade early. I just wanted to make sure we had that in the story. He had time to put $5 million together, which he traded on, you know, this coin. Then he loses the money, ironically, and you refund him. And so that is like the kind of insider like benefits.
No, encima, esto es increíble. El boludo ese de la pizza está diciendo que había juntado 5 palos verdes, que los perdió y que este se lo refundió, que se lo devolvió. Es una locura.
Unfairness that I think a lot of people are going to look at and go like, this is so rigged. He traded $5 million worth of it. And then even when he lost, you refund him.
Right. So, a couple things. One, that was probably a mistake, to be honest with you. At the moment,
I agree.
Whatever that was, I don't know when that was, whatever it was, middle of the night, whatever. I'm going back and forth with him. I'm thinking, well, Malay is going to publicly support this. This is no big deal. I don't want Dave to lose money. I'm not thinking from the perspective of like, holy shit, everybody's going to get fucked on this. That's not the perspective. So I probably need to have a conversation with him, and I'm sure there'll be different terms that we talk about. As far as like people knowing about the token, I mean, like, look, I can't say that I or anybody that knew about that, or Manu or Mauricio, haven't told a singular soul. I can tell you very few people knew. The idea of insiders to me is always bullshit, because every meme coin I've ever known or invested in or been a part of, like, the people that benefit are the people that know, like, the people that benefit the most are the people that structure the deal, similar to any other business in the world. People that are closest normally make the most money or lose the most money, one of the two. So I think that's a bit of bullshit, and that's just like crypto people that are angry that they're like, there's an unfair advantage if you're a genius on chain and you know how to game the system on Meteora. And there's 30 guys in the world that know how to do that better than anybody. So it's like,
yeah, but there's wait. There's unfair games, right? There's people who know everything about stocks. You can be Warren Buffett, but there's a difference between being Warren Buffett and being a guy with insider knowledge on like Pfizer Pharmaceutical and trading on your insider knowledge. So I think the frustration is people are frustrated that not that you're good at trading, but that you knew something what the public didn't know, and you traded on that information, which in the public markets it would be illegal. It would be insider trading.
Right. But on meme coins, A, it's not. And B, that's what happens on every single deal. I mean, every KOL, every single one globally, that's how their main money gets made. They know about a deal, they agree to a deal, and then they make money on the deal. Like that, like if you're calling out that, you have to call out everything else.
Es una estafa.
Yeah,
todas.
That would be my point.
I think that is
literally.
I do think that's unbelievably shitty. I do think that's unbelievably bad, and for everyone, except for the insiders, which is what I always say about meme coins, is it disproportionately benefits insiders.
So I think too, like my honest opinion is like I don't actually disagree, but I think like the vast majority of people betting on meme coins, right? Especially at the beginning, and I think there's a separate conversation. Retail traders, like, that is the game.
Martín dice, ¿viste lo que acaba de decir? Que se manejan con información interna y no es delito. Eso es lo que es terrible. Básicamente está aceptando públicamente que las meme coins son una estafa de los que la producen, y que obviamente que los insiders siempre van a ganar plata porque son los que saben de antemano que algo se va a publicitar, compran cuando vale 0.000001 y así suba $1, ya ganaron un montón de guita. ¿No? Y abiertamente lo terminan diciendo. O sea, para el que me diga que esto no es una timba y no es una estafa todo el tiempo, es así ese mercado, es una mierda.
For everyone. And people that get mad are the people that aren't insiders. That is what happens. That's all the bitching on socials is all the people that don't get into the deals. You'll never hear them bitch if they're in the deal.
Y no, so obvio.
It's like,
obvio.
What
y
do
sí,
you...
obvio, amigo, obvio. Y obvio que el que está dentro de la estafa no va a salir a putear, digamos, porque se hizo un negocio. El que va a putear es el que está afuera, que no sabía que era una estafa y que no sabía que se iban a ir todos apenas subía de de precio. Es como ridículo lo que dice este. Y este es el genio con el que se reunió Milei. Claramente todo esto es una chantada, boludo. Por eso es increíble que Milei no, si no se dé cuenta. O es un imbécil, o es un o es un alto estafador también. No te queda otra. Después puede esto no hacerle mella, puede que gane las elecciones, pero es una estupidez o una criminalidad, boludo, clarísima.
Do then? You don't do anything. You don't launch the project. You're like, how do you make money then? If sniper, like what do you do? That's always the question.
Just
to
be clear, there's a difference between doing a deal, like, you know, and using the information you have from inside the project to make trading decisions based on that. Those are different things. I can get paid for a tweet, let's say, and as long as I disclose that, I don't think that's necessarily a problem. But if I'm on the...
Dice, esto siempre fue así, obvio que los insiders van a siempre. Pero ¿sabes cuál es el problema? El presidente de la nación, boludo, no puede estar metido en algo que a Vox Populi es una estafa para algunos giles que están adentro del negocio y que siempre se llevan la mayor ganancia. El presidente de la nación tiene que estar diciéndote, vamos a laburar, vamos a hacer un esfuerzo todos los argentinos, vamos a producir más, vamos a vender más al exterior, vamos a hacer mejores productos, vamos a hacer grande a la Argentina de nuevo, pero no con esto. Es el problema también del mensaje que a mí me cansa un poco del mundo financiero y del mundo cripto y de todo esto. Boludo, el mensaje del presidente de la Argentina tiene que ser, vamos a ser mejores, vamos a laburar más, vamos a ganar más, vamos a producir mejores cosas, vamos a exportar más. No tiene que ser el mensaje, vamos a meternos en la timba financiera más shady que hay en los cripto, ¿no? Y la voy a promocionar, boludo. Déjame de joder. Digamos, es una estupidez abismal que se haya metido en esto. Haya ganado o no haya ganado plata.
Side buying up $1 million worth of this coin because I have insider information from my position in the deal, I think that's wrong and should be rooted out. If people think these markets should be treated like capital markets, I mean that's what all the crypto people say.
And I don't think people should treat them as capital markets because they're not. That's not what they are.
Well, you're the guy in the deals, though. Of course you know, right?
But that's your point. But even the deals which I just like bet on, whether it's like, you know, fucking jail stool or whatever, if I throw money into it, I don't treat it as a regular stock. I'm like, dude, this could go to zero tomorrow. I have no idea. Right? So it's like I treat it like a casino because that's what it is.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that the people who always say like, oh, there shouldn't be like this regulation or that regulation are always the people who are tilting the table at the casino. Like I hear Dave Portnoy talk about like, oh, you babies in the trenches, wah.
Cry, oh, Dave sold his coin.
Okay, first of all, most babies in the trenches aren't getting refunded $5 million. Yeah. Secondly, Dave's like, oh, you're mad at me because I dumped on you before you dumped on me, stuff like that.
You're just mad you didn't dump him on fucking me.
It's like, well, Dave, you're part of what controls what people do because people are trading based on you. So it's like, of course, people inside the casino who control the most levers are like, yeah, we don't think there should be any rules as to like what we say or what we do as long as we just disclose like, hey, I'm going to do this to you, you know, not financial advice, whatever.
Let me just say, like, don't, like, people like Dave, for example. Like, Dave A is a good guy, number one. Number two, Dave doesn't know that much about what's going on with meme coins yet. Like, he doesn't. He has no idea. Like, he's just kind of, like, figuring it out. He just figured out a couple weeks.
Le hubiera dejado que pierda los 5 palos en vez de devolvérselo. ¿Por qué no le devolviste a los giles que pusieron $1,000?
Go, like, shit. If I bet on this and I talk about it, oh, the price goes up. This is so crazy and weird. How do I do? Like, what do I do with
so
this?
Crazy and weird. Look. Hold on. I don't want to focus on him because in some ways I appreciate his transparency and it shows a lot of the things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't see. But what I'm just making the larger point, which is that everybody who's like, yeah, we should deregulate this, whatever. It's like, and this shouldn't be treated like everything else. They are also, a lot of the times, you'll find the same people who are rigging the game or have some hand in the game that is an unfair advantage. It's just like what you said. The people who complain are the people without the unfair advantage. The people who don't complain are the people with the unfair advantage. Like I think that is a true statement. I want to move on, though, from that because, look, like a lot of this has turned into some of the wallets which are being linked back to you are like linked to wallets which sniped the coins that you launched, right? So in the case of Libra, there's the wallet which Dave got refunded by, which is, according to him, your personal funds, was linked to an Avalanche wallet which was funded like a sniper of Libra. So, but if you launch the coin, isn't it unfair for you to snipe the coin?
So I would say no, and I would say that for a couple different reasons. Number one, a lot of the times when, and again, this is like, I mean, again, it's a much larger conversation, which is what I told you in
O
text.
sea, acá básicamente, digamos, el chabón está diciendo que la billetera con la que le había devuelto guita a este porno y también estaba vinculada a una que había vendido un montón de guita cuando la cripto creció. Y le está diciendo, boludo, pero eso, digamos, es una locura, digamos, vos mismo le estás snipeando a tu propia criptomoneda, ¿eso no te parece una locura? Y la verdad que no, y termina aceptando que el chabón jugó en contra de su propia cripto ahora, es una locura.
But most of the time when we're I have different money in different places, obviously. But from the standpoint of sniping, most of the time when we're sniping, we're attempting to avoid other snipers getting in.
Sí,
right?
sí,
So whether
claro.
that's, and by the way, I don't conduct snipes. I'm not a dev. I just want to throw that out there for, like, I don't even know how to. If you put me in front of a computer and had me try and figure out how to snipe, I don't even know I've never done a bot. I don't know any of that shit.
But you're not denying that wallets linked to you sniped Libra. But you're just saying you didn't do it.
Link to the project. I wouldn't say link to me. I would say link to the project.
Link to the wallet which refunded Dave, which Dave said was your personal funds.
That just happened to be at the time of stress where we moved money from, but that was just a mistake. I mean, if anything, because in that particular case, all I would do is like that money, when it went back into the chart, it would just flow through another wallet back into the chart. Like that money that we consider sniping, quote unquote, is the project's money, right? That's how we do it for, I mean, and anytime we've done it, that's how we do it. And the most of the time the snipe is to deter, and if there's enough volume on the project, we use it so that it has the ability to continue on. And I think that's very hard for
Si la
people
está
to
sacando
understand.
de la moneda.
I will agree with that. I think that is going to be hard to understand.
Because you have like look, right? You have, and I'll give you a great example. If you look at Trump and you look at the snipes, right? Trump had so much volume, the snipes didn't matter. They made zero difference.
No, wait, hang on. That's not true. There was a guy who sniped early for $1 million. The big crash in Melania that everyone attributes to Melania was actually that sniper selling like tens of millions of dollars of coins.
Like the one that did like 84 mil, right? That one.
Yeah.
I mean, we could argue all day. My point is, sniping when you're...
Es impresentable. ¿Ustedes se dan cuenta lo impresentable que es este Colorado chanta? ¿Se dan cuenta lo impresentable que es este Colorado chanta? Digamos, yo te digo la verdad, lo más inentendible para mí es, Milei se está codeando con Elon Musk y con gente de nivel internacional que mueve billones de dólares y hace este negocio con este gobir de cuarta. Digamos, es inentendible, boludo. Es inentendible. Encima de una entrevista con Coffeezilla, que el chabón está recontra acostumbrado a hablar con estafadores y sabe cómo hacerles pisar el palito, y se quema una atrás de la otra. Se quema, con cada palabra se quema más y lo entierra más a Milei. Es increíble, boludo. Yo te digo la verdad, no puedo creer, ¿no? La estupidez.
The team, I'm not saying it always should happen, but I'm saying a lot of times it's to protect, and if there's enough volume, take some...
Aparte, se supone que un sniper lo que hace es, se retira mucho volumen cuando está alto el precio, y eso hace bajar el precio. ¿Cómo haces eso para proteger el proyecto de otros snipers? ¡Ridículo!
Off, so that people can have a chance to pump the chart
¿Qué
back
pasa,
up.
Rusia?
because with meme coins, they go up and down so fast, these projects can get killed in 2 days. And the only hope is that you have enough of a treasury to go and try and beat the snipers. This is a conversation that goes on with everybody in Solana. Everybody that knows how these launches work, that is the conversation.
Do you
Always.
think the public knows that when a project launches, the project is going to snipe the project? Because being the most charitable, right? Which I'm just going to really stretch my brain and be super charitable here and say all of this money is not being intended to be profit. It's all for the project, right? I think
Yes.
the public not knowing that like you have these, you know, clandestine activities with these like side wallets going on is inherently like kind of messed up. And like the project is controlling the project's price. It is like a weird kind of price manipulation where you go like, oh, if it's too high, we'll clip some off the chart. And then also it kind of makes the whole idea of the team having a treasury wallet kind of pointless because it seems like you also have a sniping wallet treasury. And so, and the public has like zero clarity into what's going on here. This, I mean, just to be clear, do you think this happens a lot?
I think that this is all that happens in all of meme coins ever, unless they completely die and then they get CTO'd and hopefully nobody fucks it up. But I think like this is just me being super transparent. Maybe it's oversharing. I don't really give a shit. All of these, because everything is on the blockchain and because a certain amount of people have figured out how to game it, when you're the responsible party of trying to figure out how to make them last, because everybody, I will tell you, every single person that launches these, unless they're just a nefarious fuck, they're trying to figure out how to make these last. Like my whole goal of coming into this was like, if you
Es
want
imposible hacerlo durar a esto, boludo. Está diseñado para llevarse grandes ganancias en poco tiempo y que después esa moneda quede ahí. No está hecho, por eso es increíble que lo vendan como algo que iban a palancar empresas argentinas. Como con todo lo que está contando acá, desde el diseño de la moneda es imposible mantener un precio a la suba o a un precio acorde. Van a subir mucho, van a vender y después se muere o queda medio ahí choto. Entonces, no puedes hacer nunca esto para juntar mucha plata para bancar empresas argentinas o proyectos argentinos. No tiene ningún sentido. Si hubieras querido juntar plata para bancar empresas argentinas o hacer algo que tenga confianza, tenés que ponerle algún colateral atrás. Algo lo tiene que sostener.
Dave's story, just quick side note. There was a whole deal where the Malay team wanted Dave to be involved so that they could do some cross promotion and maybe even eventually do like an interview like he did with Trump. And create like maybe if Dave had a project at one point that there'd be like some ability for their holders to benefit from their holders and like create another like social finance thing. Like we're always I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And what always fucks that up is just massive sniping. That's the main trigger point of what fucks it up. And there's no solution because those guys just walk off with 80, 100, 200 million. And they're just scot-free. And then everybody else gets fucked and the project gets blamed. And so do I think that sniping is the number one most ethical thing of all time? No. But do I think that anybody's figured out a better way to help deter, especially the beginning launch when only the snipers can see the launch? Only the snipers can see the CA. Only. And they've gamed it. And they've gamed it on Radium, and they've gamed it on Meteora, and they're pretty sure they've gamed it on Orca as well.
So let me say, so I think this whole thing of like you snipe your own projects is insane. But I will agree that sniping is a massive problem for all these meme coins. And I think insider knowledge is also a huge problem. I think both can be true at the same time. And part of the sniping happens from insider leaks. Like, in the case of the,
I disagree.
Okay, well, you can disagree, but like there are alpha groups where one, they're looking on chain for stuff, but they're also looking for early contract leaks, and they will pay money to get those early contract addresses so they can snipe the coin.
Right, but then what? So, but what? Then what's like? Okay, sure. What's the solution? You don't launch the project, or do you try and protect it? Like, what? Here's what I would ask you. What would you
Well,
do?
philosophically,
Yo te digo la verdad, yo no entiendo cómo esto es legal, boludo. Yo no entiendo cómo es legal hacer monedas, meme coins que no valen nada, que no tienen nada atrás. Yo te digo la verdad, no entiendo cómo es legal. ¿No? Porque vos de última, no sé, querés timbiar con una acción, hay una empresa atrás. Querés comprar un bono, hay un estado atrás. Querés comprar, no sé, algo vinculado al oro. O querés invertir en un fondo de inversión. Bueno, es un fondo de inversión que se dedica a algo, ¿no? Digamos, pero ¿cómo puede ser legal todo este mercado de nada? Y que hayan millones y millones de dólares y todo un mercado que de criptobros aparte que se llenan de guita haciendo esto. Yo te digo la verdad, digamos, después, digamos, no, bueno, libre mercado, la libertad. Esto no es libertad, esto es libertad para unos estafadores que saben cómo manipular el sistema y que tienen guita como para hacer caer un montón de gente.
I think meme coins are rent-seeking zero-sum games that extract value from the majority of people who engage in them and disproportionately benefit insiders by how it works, how the deals are structured, and by the fact that for someone to make $1, you have to lose $1, right? So I think the whole thing is misguided from the outset. But obviously, I focus my efforts on where there is an unfair element of either fraud or insider trading or something that colloquially people agree is wrong. Because if people want to engage in meme coins, if people want to engage in meme coins, that's fine. But if they're going to engage in meme coins, I think at least the market should be fair. Like, I think meme coins are stupid. But even if you want to engage in stupid things, it should be fair. This is what happened with casinos, right? Casinos, there's a bunch of fraud in addition to the unfair gambling element. And so then they got super regulated. There's a reason casinos are regulated. It's because people were getting screwed. And so I think the same thing.
Claro, o sea, que es justamente lo que está diciendo ahí. Vos no es lo mismo que el casino. Esto es como cuando vas al casino, pero los dados están imantados, o el coso donde tirás la ruleta, digamos, está arreglada, o el croupier está arreglado cuando jugás al blackjack. ¿Entendés? Esa es la analogía. Es un casino que está arreglado para que gane siempre la casa. ¿Entendés? O sea, un casino, si descubren que está todo arreglado para que siempre pierdas, lo tienen que cerrar, es ilegal. Se supone que el casino, vos podés jugar y lo que sea, siempre vas a perder, pero que tenés que tener la opción, ¿no?, de que no esté arreglada la máquina. Y en este caso, es como que está arreglada la máquina.
Can and should eventually happen with this stuff, although there's obviously a big push to deregulate everything on the other side. Look, I mean, obviously, I know this is a bit of a sensitive topic, but I have to ask because, you know, this is part of what my story is about. You know, a lot of people have linked you to the Melania launch, and that is a big question on everyone's mind, mine especially, which is, were you part of the Melania launch, and was that sniped as well?
I mean, look, I think that I mean, I told you like beforehand but before this started. I mean, I'm happy to share the truth, but I mean, you're asking a question that's it's just, I mean, I'll answer, but it's factually going to put me into a lot of danger, which is fine. I'll answer. I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's, and we weren't we definitely weren't the big sniper. We were not that was what we were trying to avoid.
Está admitiendo, boludo.
And we didn't make any. There was no money made from the Melania team on any. We didn't take any liquidity out. Zero.
No, pero aparte, boludo, yo no sé en Estados Unidos si lo de la moneda de Melania o si esto cómo va a subir. Pero si este quilombo se linkea con un quilombo de Trumpy, olvídate que va a ser masivo, bro. Porque a Trumpy también lo quieren bajar más que a Milei, ¿eh? Los Soros y un montón de los que estuvieron financiando el progresismo durante años. Si se llega a linkear que esto está linkeado con alguna cagada que hicieron Estados Unidos con Trump o Melania o lo que sea con esa moneda de mierda, ahí puede escalar no sé hasta dónde, boludo. Porque ya ahí te metes con poderes gigantes, boludo.
Okay.
Este chabón es un idiota, boludo. Que Santi Caputo lo mande a matar porque caen todo.
Wow. That's like shocking news. But I want to zoom in on that point. You said like, well, we didn't take any liquidity out. One of the wallets we traced to the Portnoy thing, thing, your wallet, or not, I don't know if it's your wallet, whoever's wallet that was, sent money to a wallet which had like, got sent $1.5 million of Melania token from something called Melania-liquidity2.sol. And then that wallet seemed to sell Melania tokens that it received for free. So you said y'all didn't sell any liquidity, but I
didn't swap liquidity. Didn't swap liquidity. Didn't swap into single-sided. I didn't say there was no money sold. There's a difference between swapping the liquidity and selling liquidations. Those are two different things.
Okay, so y'all swapped. You didn't sell, or the other way around.
No, other way around. Other way around.
Sold. You didn't swap.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So is that are
Claro,
those?
dice, el USAID eso sí es masivo, pero por eso te digo, con lo que está destampando Trump y con USAID y con que ahora lo están queriendo meter en cana al hijo de Soros y a Soros, que ese es el próximo quilombito, hay una guerra gigante entre dos bandos, boludo, en el mundo. Y Milei está metido en el medio.
The two main
Y nos mete a todos nosotros en el medio.
launches you were involved in? Have you? I've heard a few other launches like Hood. Was that also
No.
you?
No.
Ahí dice, swap y sale es casi lo mismo en este caso. A ver, yo no entiendo a qué se refiere. No sé si un swap es distinto a lo que me imagino yo. Pero dice, una cosa es vender, ¿no? Vendés el activo y te quedás con los dólares. Y otra cosa es, me imagino que un swap es cambiar ese activo por otra cripto o otra moneda o otra cosa. Si me estoy equivocando, decímelo, Silmonkey.
Okay. What?
Juan no dice, ¿qué caro le podría salir esto a Milei? Y a la vez capaz que no pasa nada. Tal cual, boludo. El mundo es muy confuso, ¿verdad?
I mean, this is messed up. But look, let's try to get to this.
Silmon dice cambiar de Libra a Melania. Por eso, es exactamente lo mismo. Si te vas a otro cripto que es más estable y te quedaste con la ganancia.
$100 million. Thank you for being kind of transparent about your feeling about these things. I do feel like you have, been honest about this.
I mean, look,
you're sitting on $100 million.
Here's the thing. Before I talk about 100 million, I'm just gonna say one thing. Like, with all of this stuff, right? Like all these things, like there's nothing particularly like people have tried to say like how is he involved with Dave and Malay, right? I am like not any person that's like special. I've hunted all this stuff down because I was trying to get to I wanted two things. One, I thought that like meme coins were a step in the point of social finance, and I think I'm turning out that that's wrong, and everybody wants to kill me instead for facilitating some of these. But I think I think you and everyone else should at least take a fucking second and look at what should people do and how should people make money from these? Because there's basically one way, right? There's fees, which are very nominal on big launches. And then there's also, of course, the platforms that make fuckloads of money. No matter if there's a rug pull or a project goes well or not, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah,
I
they
completely
sell shovels.
and I completely disagree with it. Like pump funds, fucking full of shit. Meteora, Jupiter, Bullex, Photon, all these guys, it doesn't matter. They're just making money on trading fees, and if people lose their shorts, they're still cooking, which I think is fucking bullshit. And I've told many of the owners of those of all those platforms that it's fucking bullshit. And there should be some element of like, if it's a true rug or people are screwing you, or screwing people, like screwing people, there should be some sort of like refund policy. Anyways, aside from that, what would people do? What do you do when there's a broken system and you're trying to fix it and you're trying to sort out different launches, different mechanisms,
Sí,
starting
sí, sí. Ahora él es un héroe, boludo. Dale, Robin Hood.
at higher market caps, figuring out who to involve versus not, how to keep the CA to yourself, how to market it without telling people.
Hacé otra cosa. Si realmente querés hacer algo positivo, hacé otra cosa. No hagas una meme coin, boludo.
What the fuck should you do? I would love just at least, right, if this is going to be recorded and go live and whatever, that to be a thought. Because nobody, the best people in crypto, don't have an answer. They don't. Nobody has an answer for it. And I'm constantly trying to figure out, okay, what should we do? How should we make money cleanly? Is it even possible?
Sí, laburando haces plata limpia, laburando la concha de tu madre, colorado de mierda. ¡Qué chantas de mierda! Por Dios, boludo. Es peor de lo que imaginaba esto, ¿eh?
Fundamentally, hold on. Fundamentally, I think people in crypto don't have a good answer because the real answer nobody wants to hear, which is that you're sort of like, what's the fair way to make a bunch of money selling like tulip bulbs or something like that? It's like, you can structure it a lot of different ways, but anything that is by definition value extracting from the world at large is probably not a great thing. So I think people in crypto don't want to hear that.
But then every crypto project, whether they're VC funded or it's a
Y sí, por eso digo que las criptos son una estafa, boludo.
meme coin, is value extracted.
Okay, wait, hang on. I think there's a difference between something that it's a word that gets overused, but utility, something that does something, a tool that purports to do something, and then things that literally have no intrinsic value at all, right?
But it's still value extraction. It doesn't matter if it has utility.
Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. Like take for example, the company Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola, you could say, well, they're making a lot of money for their shareholders, right? But they also, one, provide a good, I mean, you could quibble about that, but like they provide a service people will pay money for, and they provide something. Then in addition, they provide dividends to shareholders. So their shareholders, regardless, shareholder could buy in for $1 and leave with $1, but they've made the dividends, right? So it's not a zero-sum game. Coca-Cola is not running a zero-sum game. Apple is not running a zero-sum game. These companies that are in the capital markets are not running zero-sum games. They're producing things. That is what the value is based on. Crypto, the idea was that yes, it's a little speculative at first, but the reason you should care about this is because there's something that is valuable behind it. There's some kind of financial technology behind it. I think that's the overall pitch. Now,
but
people will argue to...
There's
well,
not.
that's
I mean, there's not look at any crypto asset, right? Like even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is literally valuable because a shitload of people said it's valuable, and because it quote unquote isn't controlled by anybody that we know of. Like even at the top.
Sí, pero mañana ese Satoshi Sashi, o no sé cómo mierda se llama, el que inventó Bitcoin, que nadie sabe quién es, que es el que más Bitcoin del universo tiene, vende todos sus Bitcoin y el Bitcoin no vale nada el otro día. ¿Entendés? O sea, sí, el Bitcoin es porque es la más vieja de todas y se fue manteniendo y fue subiendo el precio, bajó, volvió a subir y se fue a la mierda, pero no es nada. No hay nada atrás, boludo.
All of it is extractive to some degree or a zero-sum game. None of it has value. So it's like whether it's a fucking meme coin or it's a giant utility project, it all is dog shit. The whole point of being here is...
Y te digo, Frank dice, el valor del Bitcoin es que suena al mercado negro. Sí, lo deben usar para lavar guita los narcos y los que hacen negocio y que necesitan lavar guita al final del día, boludo. Yo te digo la verdad, yo creo que la gran mayoría de los cripto y todo eso debe ser lavado de guita, narcotráfico o de negocios de, qué sé yo, de venta ilegal de armas, porque al no poder, al que son todas... no están vinculados a una persona física, no están en los bancos, no lo puedes rastrear bien, no, queda todo en el blockchain. Sí, de una billetera que quién carajo sabe quién es el dueño.
Attempt for it not to be one day, which is going to require huge amounts of progress for it to get there. My bet.
Yeah, but the progress is not going to come in the meme coins. Yeah, go ahead.
Just
Sorry.
just to finish, right? I'm not saying I'm right, by the way. I'm just saying this is my thought. I'm not at all saying I'm right. But my thought was, if some of these meme coins, because that's what all anybody gives a shit about, right now, at least for the past 3-4 months or 2-3 months, whatever, maybe since Trump launched, is that some of these could at least maybe again eventually create utility, or the Daves, or the, you know, Kanye is a horrible example, but some of these big guys, and they start collaborating, cross promoting, burning tokens, adding utility, and maybe there's actually potential of like social finance for those type of things. But in order to get there, there's going to be a fuckload of dumb shit that happens, which is the situation that I'm in right now, which is an absolute colossal, giant, huge fuck off problem, which is the $100 million thing, which we can go back to.
Yeah, I'm happy to get back there. You got $100 million kind of sitting there, and you're trying to find what to do. Now, you and I spoke in text, and my advice, I don't know if it's perfect, but my advice is like, look, you need to take a snapshot, calculate P&Ls, calculate who lost money, and assign pro rata shares of the losses. So if, you know, and maybe with an emphasis on lower amounts. So like, let me just like give you a for instance. You could cap the amount of losses somebody could reasonably claim to like $50,000, with the assumption being if you have more than that, you are much more likely to be a more sophisticated trader, and the emphasis with recovery would be on people who are not sophisticated, who are just maybe, you know, somebody from Argentina who just saw the Malay tweet and was like, I'll throw money at that, right? Or somebody from America who has like no idea, you know, they have $1,000 and they dump money into that. So you could make a lot of people whole using that. The downside is that it would take a lot of time and an analytics firm, frankly. As I told you, I think it would take a lot of effort. But I think that's the most reasonable approach given how...
Jordi dice, Pela, te tengo un mute porque voy en la ruta, pero el presidente acaba de darle RT a una guía para comprar Libra, acelerados 20, ¿acaso no? Está completamente loco este guachín. ¿Posta va a hacer un double down en esto? Después de que el Colorado este dijo todas las barbaridades que dijo.
Screwed up it's all become.
Yeah, so I would, I've been told basically 4 things. I'm happy to, like, if somebody, the whole point of me texting you was not some fucking...
Coffeezilla está bueno lo que digo. Yo te digo más que a $50,000, yo le llevaría de hasta $10,000 y todos los que invirtieron que le devuelvan la guita, si realmente se... Pero no le van a devolver nada a nadie, guachines. Mientras tanto, un comercial.
Vierge. Parfum pour vierge.
¿No estás cansado de que tu perro cague en todos lados y tenés que limpiarlo con el asco que da? ¿No estás cansado de que tu perro cague en la calle y tenés que limpiar con esta bolsita de mierda que no se sabe dónde carajo se abren? Y básicamente limpiáis como agarrar la mierda con la mano. Pero ahora llegó el nuevo Blem Popó. Le tirás un chorrito del Blem y la caca desaparece. Nuevo Blem Popó. Tus mascotas felices y vos también, porque no tenés que limpiar caca.
Llegas a casa, el desastre ves. Caca por doquier, a limpiar te toca otra vez. Pero calma aquí, nuevo spray llegó. Blem Popó es la magia que te salvó.
Oh. Bueno, y ahí volvimos. Tengo que hacer comerciales nuevos para ir intercalando, guachines. Sí, boludo, ahí, ¿cómo estás con edad pela? Es masivo, bro. Bueno, yo no tengo una criptomoneda, no tengo una meme coin pelada. Tienen un link en donde pueden colaborar y básicamente lo que están pagando es que siga acá en el canal, guachines. Les doy este servicio, les guste o no les guste.
sob story. It was like, look, I need somebody trustworthy to come help me. because I don't know what the fuck to do.
Leo le dice, sí, posta retuiteó cómo comprar Libra. Dios mío, está enfermo. Pero boludo, eso es un... No puede hacer eso. Es un delito que diga cómo comprar esa cripto aparte. O sea, es increíble. ¿En serio quiere que lo destituyan, boludo? No puede hacer eso. ¿Cómo mierda? Bueno, a mí me tiene bloqueado, pero a ver... acá, bueno, mira, Lean Richo está diciendo que Yao Cabrero fue en cana. Pero boludo, creo que puedo ver igual lo que hace ahora, ¿no? Mieli, siempre pongo Mieli en vez de Milei cuando escribo rápido. A ver. El querido fiscal... No lo veo, boludo, ¿eh? Nuestro ancla no se toca. Nuevamente superior que llegar. Bueno. Fueron de superior en enero. Mate con Mate 7. Ustedes de repente, ya me mandaron más plata de la provincia para comprar los bots para subir los hashtags. Ah, bueno, ahora están diciendo que es masa. Bueno, no sé, no lo encuentro, guachines. Si ustedes lo encuentran, después pásenme, porque no puedo creer si hizo esa estupidez.
And I don't want to be blamed for something that I had no intention of creating, to be just quite honest. And remember, this is the government of Argentina, Malay, like Kip. I am not the team. I am not the team. I will say that 100 more times. Like, I have no desire to be in the position. The video I posted was simply to try and get people to help, and no one, besides like Yatsu, no one has come to help. That's like a crypto leader. It's insane to me. All these people are bitches. Anyways, there's 4 options, right? There's no refund, and just, and give all the money to an Argentinian nonprofit and tell everybody to fuck off. That's a horrible idea, in my opinion. Second option is a refund, but a refund is going to be based on, again, a bunch of different metrics, and people are still going to be pissed, and people are still going to come for me.
Mira, vos fijate el chamullo que te hace, no, le podemos devolver la plata, pero hay muchas métricas, y si le devolvemos la plata, igual la gente va a estar enojada, así que no vamos a devolver nada, básicamente.
So, I've been advised that that's a terrible idea by a bunch of people, although I do think people should get, even though meme coins are completely speculative and it's horseshit that people would throw all their life savings into these. I still think it's still based on what I think and what an analytics firm thinks based on a certain price. It's still fucked. The third option is inject all the money back into the chart. I did a calculation of how much money we have, and even with tons of sell pressure.
How much is it?
How much we could get it to?
No. How much money do y'all have sitting on the sidelines?
No. It's like more or less 100 mil. Like it's right around there. And I guess there's fees too. So there's probably I don't know the number, but it's probably like 11 million or so in tokens and like 13 in fees. So let's say like 110-ish million, right, of cash, because tokens you can't inject back into a chart. If we injected all that back into a chart, it would get up to about 2.5-3 billion, right, which is about where the all-time high was, and at least gives it a chance. And I'm completely clean of that, right? Then there's like, you guys can say whatever you want. The money's back in the chart. And then people can say like, well, he bought the token before, blah, blah, blah. There's no world in which I'm buying this token. I want to get the fuck away from it. This has been a colossal nightmare for me.
Let me just pitch you, because I feel very strongly that this would be a mistake. And let me just give you the quick pitch on why that's like a colossal, that will get more problems. Okay. Starting with just the fact that it's an inequitable solution. Like the other way of a pro rata share at least tries to be equitable. But you're talking about a launch which already was plagued by people basically the fastest fingers taking advantage, really snipers, bots, taking advantage of, a launch, right? And then the solution is, well, let's do something which also allows snipers and bots to take advantage of us re-injecting capital. That, even when you announced that, hey, we're thinking about doing this, if you're a savvy speculator and hey, this guy's about to run this up to $2 billion, you buy a bunch of Libra coins on the cheap. Now, I don't advise that anyone do that. But, even when you floated this idea to me, it's like that already created an insider trading opportunity, which I could have run to the side, got, however many thousands of dollars together, dump money into Libra, and then wait for you to re-inject money. I could go, hey, Hayden, go inject money into the chart. Go do it. You inject $2 billion, and I get like an 100x. This is a disaster. So it's like, because there's an insider trading problem. As soon as you do buy.
Why is it a disaster? Why is it a disaster? Because if I announce that that's the intention, it gives everybody the chance to buy in. Then it's not insider. Then it's completely free market, and everybody knows that there's money coming back into something. Then it's completely free.
But even then, as you buy, when you decide to buy, the more sophisticated you are, the more you take advantage of this, right?
But that's the same thing. It doesn't, whether it's a launch or an injection, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Like that ends up being that's the same point you're making. Like, whether I refund people.
No le va a dar plata a nadie. Vamos a leer las conclusiones finales a ver qué dicen. Porque acá ya después lo que queda es qué tendría que saber la gente sobre las cripto, a quién le importa, el futuro de los meme coins, la transparencia. Vamos a ver los closing arguments.
The closing thing or not, but I would say like a couple things. Like, number one, I just want to reiterate this, like, not only because I actually believe it, but needs to be said. Like, Javier knows jack shit about crypto. I think he knows I think he's brilliant, and I think he knows a few things about blockchain, but I don't think he realizes what he's done. So I just want to throw that out there. And I fully back him, and I think he's the saving grace to one of the most corrupt countries in the world that has a chance to be non-corrupt. So I want to throw that out there.
Bueno, no ayudó mucho. Con esta pelotudez no ayudó mucho a hacer que la Argentina sea percibida como un país no corrupto. Acá Jordi me estaba mandando que ¿se acuerdan del guachín ese de Economic Front? Un yankee que era cana y que se vino a ver a Argentina y estaba maravillado con Argentina. Bueno, parece que ahora lo odia a Milei, porque parece que puso guita y perdió todo el pelotudo ese, ¿no? Yo te quise entrevistar cuando no te conocía nadie y no me diste bola, Economic Front. Y te fuiste a hablar con lo de carajo. Bueno, ahora capaz que me das bola, ¿no?
Number two, I'm sharing this story in the hopes, and I didn't think I would share like to this level, but I think like it's important to know that like just because there's a narrative of like all KOLs, and I don't know that you're I don't know you consider yourself a KOL or not, but like you guys are all making money from either sharing content or getting paid on deals. Those are the two ways you guys make money.
¿Qué tiene que ver?
Right? Or maybe brand deals or endorsements. It doesn't matter. Like ultimately it's because you keep floating content. And your guys' content, in this case, affects my family greatly and puts me in a fuckload of danger. Even though...
Amigo, vos hiciste una estafa cripto de nivel global y la culpa la tiene Coffeezilla porque está investigando el tema.
I am not the main player here, and I don't want to be the main player. That's why I've always sat in the facilitator standpoint. So I would appreciate when people, like, I don't need to be a victim. I'm not. But I would love if people could have a tiny bit of empathy, because I'm going to have security.
Empatía, amigo, tenés 100 palos verdes en el banco. ¿Qué empatía querés, hijo de qué cara dura que es? Dios mío.
Probably for the foreseeable future. And I'm probably going to be extremely fucked for the foreseeable future for something that I didn't want. I wanted 100%. I wasn't taking any money on this deal. I was doing this on behalf of Milei. I'm his advisor. I wanted to do this to further other conversations, further other blockchain technology, further other initiatives. I didn't give a shit about the money that this could make. Other ones, sure. I'm not going to claim that I
Devolvé la
haven't made
plata,
money on
amigo.
them. That would be stupid. And then lastly, however you post this and however you transition it, I would appreciate at least some light shed on the fact that I am not a scammer, nor do I think Libra's a dead project. And I do actually believe Malay will support it, by the way. We'll find out tomorrow and the next day. But my bet is that he supports it. And I think he's better off supporting it than he's not in his current predicament.
Yeah, just to go back, my fundamental issue sort of with you, assuming the $100 million gets to the right people, is the sniping. It's the like clandestine sniping, which you've basically said was requested of you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's just that's a long. I think it's a longer story.
Are you benefiting from these snipes? So I think that's the question everyone has. Is like,
Yeah.
Are you launching projects? You know they're going to be launched, and then you benefit from basically investing in the project super early and peeling off money.
I haven't. So the answer is I haven't benefited from them as of now. I don't know, to be honest with you. It's considered treasury. So again, and I want to reiterate this because I think a lot of people don't understand
fuck is he
how
talking about?
complex when you deploy these launches, how complex they are. But you're competing against 100+ of the greatest snipers in the world who are just peeling 10, 20, 30 million off these big launches and walking away. And in 2 seconds, they'll also, the other thing is they'll dump it in 2 seconds. They'll just dump it based on when they want to. They won't even sell based on like a DLMM or a
Como en
CLMM
todas
or a
estas timbas
strategy
financieras.
or
Todo.
like
A ver, como todas timbas financieras, lo que dicen los que hacen el day trading, en que están ahí estoqueando, mirando todo el tiempo cosas, sube un poquito, tienen algún rumor, compran y al toque venden y capaz que se hacen un 1%, 2% de ganancia. Digamos, eso funciona así desde que hay mundo financiero. Digamos, no me puede dar la excusa de que no, estoy compitiendo como contra 100 snipers que van ahí, lo único que quieren es llevarse una rentabilidad, como todo el universo financiero, boludo.
okay, there's $1 billion of volume. This won't hurt the chart. Nothing. They're just going to nuke it when they want to. So one of the ways to deter that, which again you can say is fucked up. I mean, fine, but is to try and have that token come out and snipe into it, so the market cap is higher to get into at the beginning, which retail never even gets that anyway. Like retail never sees that. Retail sees it 10 minutes later when it's at 10, 20x already. So we're also trying to help retail. But nobody sees that. Everybody just sees, oh, it's insider, oh, it's sniping. That's not, it's much more complex than that. And people just see that as benefiting. And it's not the case. It's every one of these projects. The idea is to get to a year, 2 years plus. Every one of these teams. There's never a sense of like, let's go make shitloads of money from the beginning. So I just want that to be known, because whether it's believed or not, that is 100% the truth.
I just don't know. Like, to me, it seems like if you really wanted to bring up the market cap, I guess you could structure your liquidity pool in a certain way where it's priced in, or you don't have to do the single-sided liquidity. There's like a number of ways you could do it where you don't.
They're not all single-sided. They're not all single-sided.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is like you could create a structure, I think, where a lot of this happens without sniping.
But the intention is to do that, but it doesn't matter. They all get sniped. You could launch it at $1 billion, you could launch it at 500, you could launch it at 200, you could launch it at 300. They all get sniped.
It's kind of like this. Okay, finally I've kind of come up with the thing. Like you're like a bank, right? And you go like, hey, there's money in the bank. Come like try to like kind of play the game. But you're like, look, I'm afraid that people are going to get to my bank vault first. So I'm going to rob myself first in order to put money back in the vault later. And we just all are squinting our eyes like, well, are you ever going to actually put the money back in the vault? And that's kind of this weird like trust game we have to play of, oh yeah,
that actually sounds exactly like crypto, but sure. Like, yeah, I mean, that's actually not the worst. That's not the worst like depiction.
Okay.
I mean, every one of these launches is just like that. It's like how the question on everybody's mind is, how do we launch this as
Esto es una locura, boludo. Y posta mi ley de retuiteo esto, dice Darío Stein, ¿cómo había que hacer para comprar Libra? Crear una wallet Phantom, comprar toque de Solana, transferir a tu wallet operando en exchange, pegar el contrato, swapear, bueno, claro. Este lo está haciendo como que, Darío Epstein lo estaba diciendo como que era muy difícil comprar cripto y mi ley lo he retuiteado para eso. Pero prácticamente estás explicando, digamos, cómo hacer la operatoria, ¿no? Estupidísimo, boludo.
fairly and without snipers? Like, do you do a big pre-marketing hype about it? Well, then all the snipers are going to know. Do you do it stealth, but and then somehow a couple people get to figure it out? I don't know. It's always like that. And you and nobody else has given me an actual answer, which is why I just get blamed. But nobody provides a solution of like, this is how we should do this going forward. And this is why it makes sense. Because it's all on the blockchain. So it's all able to be seen to some degree or another.
It is all on the blockchain. I mean, again, I put forward my thoughts about meme coins in general and stuff. So I have some recommendations. I've never been accused of not having enough opinions. I mean, I think anyone who knows me knows that. But, whether you think those are valid or not is a different story.
Esto ya está terminando. Acá mirá, fíjate que tuvieron que salir a aclararlo, ¿no? Y lo tuvo que retuitear, mirá, hace 25 minutos. Vuelvo a aclarar, el único propósito de este tweet es mostrar que no era fácil para una persona común comprar este instrumento meme coin. No es endorsement, tutorial o recomendación. La descripción es solo efecto de ver lo difícil que es comprar para un inversor normal. O sea, vos fíjate, se sigue tirando, que alguien le saque a Milei si quiere que esto no escale, que le saque en Twitter, boludo. El chabón retuiteó esto, le están diciendo, che, pero está explicando cómo comprarlo. No, estoy queriendo aclarar que, boludo. Jeff McQuill dice, denunciaron a Milei en el FBI. No lo sé, no sé cómo va a escalar esto, guachín, es impredecible. Y más si termina enganchado a la cripto de Melania por este pelotudo. No sé qué va a pasar, guachines. Tendremos que ver cómo evoluciona esto en la semana. Pero este colo que tiró, digamos, toda esta bizarreada, lo hundió más para mí, boludo. Lo hundió más. No hay manera, digamos, de que no quede, digamos, mal parado con esto. La verdad es increíble. Así que bueno, guachines, llevamos 5 horas 20 de stream. Nos vemos mañana. Abrazo para todos.